Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, we want to welcome you to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, with us, we have Robin Hallett. Robin is an intuitive healer and guide. She helps people focusing on finding what lights them up, facilitating them to overcome the obstacles that prevents them from reaching their highest potential. Her approach is straight to the heart with kindness and compassion that has been known to change people's lives in a very short time. Before starting, we want to remind you that Mindalia TV is a nonprofit organization. Our only mission is to share information and try just raise the level of consciousness around the world. You can help us do that just by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down below, or you could even share this video with someone that you know that is going to enjoy its content. Without further ado, I'm going to be leaving you with Robin. And please remember, while we are live streaming, we have the active chat. It's a great tool for you to interact with Robin while we are still on air. Just please remember the format, the word question, the question that you actually want to be answered. And that's pretty much it. Robin, I'm going to be leaving you with the screen. It is yours. Welcome.
Thanks, Mirna. Hi, everybody. It's me, Robin, and I want to welcome you to this talk. And it's my prayer that everything you are needing in this moment, the stuff you know you need and the stuff you didn't know you need, comes through for you, and that you're left feeling lit up and inspired, and something tangible stays with you from my heart to yours, from my mind to yours. So I thought we would begin with a little blessing and a prayer. If that feels right to you, we could do that. Just wherever you are, close your eyes and take a deep breath. I'm going to do the same. I call on the guides and angels and the ancestors for my friend here, for me, for all of us listening, tuning in live, tuning in on the replay. Please stand with us and help us to open our hearts and be an active channel for light and power that we truly are. Help us to remember our connection to divine source and choose the light. Bless my friend here, protect my friend, and inspire my friend. And so it is. Amen. And aho, and ahoy. And I always say ahoy because this is a funny story for you, but I always say ahoy because a dear friend of mine years ago always thought we said, instead of aho, she heard us saying ahoy. And one day she went to a sweat lodge and she proudly said ahoy at the end of the prayer, and nobody said anything. Everybody was quiet, and she came to see me and said, I'm so embarrassed. I said ahoy, and nobody said anything. And I said, that is the best. That is the best. You said ahoy. From now on, we are spirit pirates, sailing the seas, wild adventures, full of light and joy and delight. And so I always say ahoy. So ahoy. So welcome to this talk. And thank you, Mirna, for inviting me and having me here. I am going to talk to you about your infinite power, and you are free to receive as much or as little of this talk as you like. Listen with your gut and your heart, but stay open. I am an intuitive. I have the ear of spirit. I receive information and I like to pass it along in a fun and joyful way. So I hope that's what this is. So here we go. And I have lots of notes all over the place. So if I'm not looking right at you, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at the little notes I jotted. The way I like to give information is to sit in meditation ahead of time and just make notes. And a lot of times post-it notes are the way to go. You don't have to be so tight-butted about a speech, can just wing it. So, you're here. You are in this body, in this world, doing your due. You know, you're in a family, maybe you're in a relationship, you're in a job, you have wants and desires for yourself, you have things you want to do, stuff you want to accomplish. And you also have, what do you have? Things that are lacking, stuff that you're missing, you feel is missing, more that you would like. You're normal. Maybe you have obstacles. Maybe there are things you feel held back about, or things you struggle with, you know, that just are difficult in your life. And the thing that I think sometimes we forget is that we are connected to a source greater than ourselves. And we are part of that divine flame. I am not a super religious-y person. I am not. I have a whole background that I don't even want to get into, but I am not. But I like to think about you and me being connected to a source greater than ourselves, like the source that creates planets and things like velocity and things like the power behind the flow of rivers, you know. There's a lot of lava activity in Hawaii right now, lava, volcanoes, that source. The stuff that birds navigate by, you know, gravity. So when I say source, that's what I'm thinking about. The source, the creative substance of this universe that made these things come into being. You and I are connected to that. We are that. That's us. That flows through us. And in these times in your life where, you know, you feel, I think I have some hairs just floating. So sorry. In those times where you feel like, what's going on? You know, I don't feel good about myself, or I'm frustrated, or I'm, you know, you get a little obsessive about these habits you have, or the money you would like to have, or the job stuff you want, or the romantic stuff. You know your deal. I know my deal. When we get hung up on that, what we do is we dial our focus so far down. OMG, we dial our focus so far down that we forget about planets and stars and galaxies and the force of, you know, the river flow, and how do birds navigate, and how do butterflies figure out to come back, you know, for mating season. How does that happen? I was watching a hummingbird in my garden this evening. You see these flowers? I went out and picked some in the garden before this talk, and I saw a hummingbird, and I was like, and hummingbirds, I mean, them too, they come all the way back, this great migration to come back and nest here. You know, we forget when we get so stressed out and so worried, we forget. So my first wish for you and my first ask of you is that you spend a little time remembering. And if you ask me, I've spent a lot of time doing different things, you know, spiritual, woo-woo, ashram, meditating, groups of this, groups of that, studying with this one and that one and this one and that one. And here, you know, here's what I can tell you. All enlightenment really is remembering what I'm saying. That's you enlightened. When you're in your enlightened self, you remember what I'm talking about and you practice. You choose to practice. No matter what is happening in your life, you choose to practice. Does that make sense? Okay. And remember, you can put some questions for me in the chat window, and Myrna will give them to me when I'm done talking, okay? I'd love to take your questions, and if you have anything you want me to look at for you or answer for you, feel free, okay? So, my hair again. So you want to feel unlimited. You want to feel powerful, like all the green lights are lit for you. You know, you're lucky and blessed and charmed, and you know, all the good things are going. The bonuses are coming and the jackpots are happening. You know, just the things that make you feel like, oh, yay. The light is shining on me. That's how you want to feel. And here's what I can promise you. This is like every message I receive from Spirit. When people come to see me in session, and maybe a beloved ancestor who's passed on will sometimes tell me things for that person. Always there's this one message that says abundance and light and love are eternally present in every moment at all times. That is an energy available to you always, all the time, every moment. You know, the stuff you are seeking is simply a symbol of that. It's a symbol of the substance. So, you want money, you want relationship, you want the right opportunities, you just want your heart to be eased, you want your kid to be okay, stuff like that. Of course, that energy is available to you, and you need to choose it. And that means, you have to remember that your mind is the center of divine operation. I'm back to that idea of source. You come from star stuff. You're made of star stuff, right? The same flow that makes the lava do its due right now is flowing through you too. You need to call on that higher energy in your remembrance as a practice. And that's hard sometimes, when stuff is going on, when your beloved has cancer, or somebody is in deep despair, or you're in deep despair. I know what I'm asking is a lot. I do, I get it. And that is the practice. That's, we just can't be, if we're choosing it's too hard, or it's too difficult, or it's too sad, that's the choice. You get one channel, love or fear, divine spark of light, or what I sometimes tell friends is the dark disco. You're either dancing in the dark disco, or you're in the divine spark of light. You can't have both at the same time. It's like driver's ed. When I was learning how to drive, I had a problem. I would always press the gas and the brake at the same time. And I tried to drive like that quite a bit. You can't do it with your energy. You need to keep a constant remembrance of who you truly are. And how do you do that? How do you do that when sometimes your mind is taken over by the gremlins of self-doubt and fear and worry, I always say there's too many situations to have enough answers for, but there is a one-size-fits-all solution, and that is to have little reminders around you. Myrna was complimenting my beautiful space here. I mean, this is, if you came to my house right now and we had a cup of tea together, I have my tea. It's a little late here for drinking tea, but that's okay. If we had a cup of tea together, you would see that my whole house kind of looks like this place. I feel like it is so important to remind yourself of who you truly are and the majesty that you are, that you also need a space that reminds you of that too. Does that make sense? So around you, you have beautiful visual reminders. It doesn't have to be, maybe this is too much for some of you. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could just be something small. This is the little bunnies that my Omi gave me when I was little. So I've had this like forever. This is one of the original Hummel bunnies. And I keep that with me, and it reminds me that I'm loved and cherished. And like, she was one person in my life that adored me. I mean, I just always felt that love from her. So of course I see this, and it's hard to feel like you're a piece of crap, when you see something like this, or a beautiful crystal. You can have something around you, like I said, I went out to the garden and I'm not going to stress out about giving a talk about things I loved with people I love. Why would I do that? So I went out in the garden and picked some gorgeous flowers, and I'm staying in the flow of the essence of love. And that's what I want you to do too. People tell me, I had some clients today and they're like, I'm a terrible meditator. I'm so bad at meditating. And I always say, who cares about meditating? I know the promise meditation holds for us. I know that, it has such a shine. It's like a shiny object. If only I could meditate, then all my problems would go, right? It's the magic elixir. I once had a client come and say, if only my husband would juice, our marriage would survive. You know what juicing is? Yeah. Let's not get hung up on things. Let's practice with our energy and our flow. So, you working on your distress, how much distress you allow yourself to carry. You know what I mean by distress? The upset that you allow to just run 24/7. Let's work on that. If you don't, like I said, if you don't love the space you're in, let's work on that. What that will do is attune your energy to a higher, funner, more colorful, vibrant essence, and you'll be a more natural match to that unlimited, powerful abundance and love and light and divine essence. That's so simple. So I'm not saying don't meditate. I usually meditate, most mornings and sometimes in the afternoon. I like it. If you don't like it, there are a bazillion other things you could do. So that would be the next thing is like, let's stop thinking we have to do stuff we don't want to do. I will tell you a secret about me. I love to play video games. I know. I'm almost 50. I said 50, but I'm almost 50. I have a year of 49 left. I love to play video games, and it is so much fun for me. Of course, this started way back in the 80s when Atari came out and whatever the games were. I think I had Pong, and then oh gosh, who cares? But so much fun. And then Donkey Kong and all these really fun games. I love to play video games. And probably like 10 years ago, I started to notice that while I would play, I also bad talked myself for playing games. I was like, Robin, you're 40 years old. It's time to put away childish things, right? It's time to get serious about who you are. Oops, the wind just shifted and a card fell over. Okay. It's time to get serious, buckle down, stop doing these things. No, that's the short answer is that you need a policy that everything you love, you're allowed to have and do and be. It's so important. I can't even tell you, sometimes I look at people and their energy field is so dark and dusty. It's musty and dusty. And then they'll talk about, I'll say, but what do you love? Just give it a second and think about what do you love? And I swear it's like a little colorful poof of light starts to flow right from the mind as they're thinking about it. Then the heart gets going. It is the fastest track. You want what? Abundance, better opportunities. You want to get found, recognized, chosen, get off the couch, make something of yourself. These are all things I hear people tell me all the time. You need to start to play and have fun. You know what? That's what infinitely powerful people do. Sometimes I feel disappointed when I see what's taking over BuzzFeed or what are those other websites, where like, this is what Richard Branson does. Richard Branson, I don't know. He works out for 4 hours every day. Well, maybe that's true, but it kind of tells us that if you want to be rich and powerful, you need to work out for 4 hours every day. And it also reinforces the story that it's only about what we look like and our physical stamina. I want you to think about 360-degree energetic stamina, that backwards and forwards, you are an infinite being. And There is no such thing as lack in you. There is no such thing as too late for you. There is no such thing as, you have to do more hard things. All right. This card keeps hitting my little fan, but it is a sweet card, isn't it? See, beautiful things or special things around you. My cousin sent this to me. I love to have stuff like this around. I really hope you'll at least think about that part. Anyway, you are an energetic being, and it's so important for you to remember that you're not just this one physical body in this one limited linear time frame. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So let me just quick look at my notes. Perfect. Also, it doesn't matter how old you are. I see people who are 62. I see people who are 38. Sometimes I see teenagers. Sometimes I see people in their 20s, but mostly, 40s, 50s, 60s. Everybody's like, Robin, it's too late. I missed my chance. How could that possibly be? Are you kidding me? Seriously? It doesn't matter what came before. Now it's always new. That should be your new favorite saying from Robin. You should write that down. Now is always new. It doesn't matter what came before. It doesn't matter what happened an hour ago. Sometimes you can catch words coming out of your mouth and you can say, stop. I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Doesn't matter. Now is always new. It's never too late for you. Never, never, never. It's really, you want to just be in the flow of your essence, So these things that you're excited to do and learn about and try, that's what you need to be doing. Today I said to my husband, do you want to go to a movie today? It's a weekday. It's a work day. I was like, let's go play some hooky this morning. I still call it hooky, even though I'm not in school. Let's go ditch, let's go to the movies. And what did he say? Oh, I can't. I have work. He probably doesn't really sound that way, but I can't go. I have to work. And I thought, well, that was just for Robin, one of many choices of fun and delight for me, because I feel like I'm going to live my life and I'm going to have fun and do what lights me up. And honestly, not everything needs to be climbing Mount Everest, trekking through Nepal, Machu Picchu. Not everything needs to be so ginormous. It can just be simple. I'm going to go cut flowers, play my video game. Maybe I'm going to go play hooky and go to the movies. Again, these are the things that kind of make you feel alive in your body. And like I was saying about me and video games, and I bet I'm not the only one here listening that likes to play. So I'm just saying, but, do not diss what you love. Do not put it down or shame yourself or think this isn't good enough or important enough or special enough to take a day off for or whatever. Love what you love while you love it. Let yourself love what you love and play and have fun. I could tell you that 180 times, and I know how we struggle with that, but that's the truth. So, back to the age thing. There is no hurry. I promise you. I mean, you are so sure sometimes that it's too late for you, but the only thing you're doing is dialing down your opportunity and staying safe in a tight-butted little story that you're comfortable telling so that you have something to do with your time, meaning feel worried and oppressed and depressed and scared and then struggle some more with stuff that really doesn't matter. So what if you just kind of said, oh yeah, what did Robin say? It doesn't matter what came before. Now is always new. And my mind is a center of divine operation, and abundance and love and light are eternally present And everything I seek is connected to that. So let me open my heart. Let me stop and take a breath. Let me open my heart a bit bigger, a bit wider, and receive. And receive that. And be here and enjoy. Yeah. All the green lights for me. I am too blessed to be stressed. Everything you're wanting in the physical reality is simply a symbol of that substance I'm talking about. You know, we can't see the essence of abundance. We can't see it. You know, you can't see love. You can't see light in the light I'm talking about. You know, maybe if you can see energy fields, but you know, these are things you have to just trust and stay connected with. And but what we see is the physical manifestation of things. So don't get confused that you know, you need to stay a channel. You need to stay in the flow and stay open to the abundance energy if you want to have abundant opportunities and, you know, love flowing through you. You have to stay open to that, and that takes a lot of trust. So I was saying, there's no hurry. You have plenty of time for your growth and your all the things you want to do. And, you know, you need to attend to your delight more than you realize. It is really important. I mean, sometimes I want to say before you start juicing or another fast or another cleanse, I guess a fast and a cleanse. Well, no, you know what I mean. Before you start doing one specific thing to your physical body, start to practice this flow of energy. It's so important. Just going to peek here. Yeah. So expanding consciousness, you want to expand your consciousness to widen the flow of energy that is able to come to you. So think about a straw, a small, spindly, tiny little dinky straw. And oh, when I was growing up, we had paper straws on the beach. And what would happen the minute you would try and, you know, take up a little bit of your soda or your milkshake, the straw would collapse and you got nothing. And then you have to work with the straw to open it up. You're a channel like that. You know, the energy that flows to you is just like that straw. You want the biggest, widest, you know, capacity. And the way you do that is everything I've already said. You got to practice being open. You've got to work with the distress you allow, how much freak out you let yourself have. And, you know, kind of like got to stop taking yourself and your situation so seriously. I think we could all do with a bit more of a sense of humor and easy peasy, let myself off the hook with all these crazy expectations I have of myself, you know, like I don't know. I got to get in shape. I got to lose 50,000 pounds. I need to earn $20 million. I need to find the man of my dreams. I need to do, and I need and I need to write a book, you know, and like be a bestseller. And all of this needs to happen like 3 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, it's ridiculous, but we all can be a bit ridiculous. So again, all you need to do is say, whoa, stop, come back. I am connected to a source that is unlimited potential energy, powerful beyond measure, all the green lights, you know, all the juju and light. I'm connected to that. Okay, so instead of me spinning off in my own little wacky dark disco energy, I'm going to come over here and be in the light and trust. You know, trust. I was saying to a friend today, it's never not been okay. Why are you going to spin this story again that you're scared about money? Even if it was true that, you know, the worst happened and for a time you didn't have a car, you didn't have a place to stay, you're still here now, which tells me obviously you made it. You know, could we just trust in the flow that kept you moving, that kept bringing grace into your life, that kept bringing you blessings? why don't we say thank you to that instead of freaking out about it not being here again? So we need to really work with that level of distress we allow with our words and our deeds and our thoughts. And, think about this principle. Your energy flows where your thoughts are going. It flows to your attention. So the energy flows in the direction of your thoughts. What are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you doing? I want to see you expanding into the flow of love and practicing. I tell people sometimes in their session, really, seriously, all I'd love you to do, no big tweaks, but before you get out of bed every morning, say a prayer, say a thank you prayer. Tell yourself a few things you love about what's going well in your life and say thank you and more like this, please. It's like you're talking to the divine. More like this, please. Do you remember the Matrix? Neo's like this. Bring it on, baby. More like this. Thank you. Thank you. And it's so funny to me that the people who struggle the most, and, because we're kind of attached to struggling. I mean, if I struggle, I know who I am. I'm clearly defined. I'm depressed. I have anxiety. I'm a struggler. I just struggle. I'm probably not going to do that little tiny thing Robin asked me to do, which is to lay in bed and say, thank you, OMG. Thank you so much. What a great night's sleep. What a smushy little bed. I love this pillow. It was a great night. Here's a few more things I'm really digging about my life now. And oh, wow, the birds, listen to the bird song. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And more like this. And you know what? Really, let me take a moment and send light to everybody I know and say thank you too. Okay. So people will say to me, I know you told me to do that thing. I still haven't had time to do it. I'm like sitting across from them like, seriously? You didn't have time to do it. Really? You're laying in bed. You didn't have time to do it. It's like 30 seconds. I mean, you could get out of bed and go pee and do it, So we can be so attached to our suffering and our distress because it's become a way of life. We've learned to identify so deeply with, being whoever we say we think we are. So, you could easily walk out on that story. And this note here says, how we handle crisis. To me, back to the whole meditation thing, I don't care if you can meditate for 90 minutes or 100 minutes or 10 minutes or 2 minutes, or you've been consistent for 90 days. How you handle crisis is the thing that matters. And like, this is why we practice, and this is why we study, and hopefully this is why you see a healer and you want to learn about this stuff. And this is why, so that when crisis comes, we're just like still on the ride. Still, it's like on the rapid ride, you're still on the ride. You're not throwing your oars out of the boat because a little wave came. This is when we have to dig deep and practice. So in times of crisis, a lot of us just quit on everything, and that's the time you got to stay and you got to really work with it. And I was telling Myrna before we started this live tonight that I was going to talk a bit about stillness. I really feel this is important in times of stress, in times of crisis, in times of just where you're really trying to have deeper contact with the divine. You seriously need time of stillness. You need to learn how to guard your words and stay in stillness. We've become super social and chatty. And my friends will tell you this. Sometimes they'll say, do you got time to talk today? And I'm like, no. And it's not because I don't have time. It's because I want to conserve my energy. If I'm going to talk, I want to talk like this to you. I don't want to do mindless chit chat. That's going to exhaust all my energy out and maybe regurgitate some stressful stories that aren't even mine, that are probably gossip, stuff about other people I don't even need to know. So, guarding your words, guarding the amount of energy you spend in giving it out with your words, and really have a sense of purpose in why am I saying what I'm saying. It's so tempting to gossip. Every day there's a story that you're like, oh my God, I need to call so and so and be like, oh, you should hear what happened today. And don't you know? And this is like a drainer. It is like 10x draining of your energy. So if you want to be a vibrational match, it's not that you can't be involved in world events, what's going on now in the world. No, that's not what I'm saying. But be mindful with your energy and your sense of purpose. And your energy follows your thought, and your energy follows your intention. So, you know, it's a little like call and response. What you're giving out, you're going to be getting back. So we want to be really mindful about that too. And time of stillness every day is so important. Sometimes it's just good for you to know you don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to answer everything. You don't have to check your phone all the time. I have my phone here just in case something goes wrong, but a lot of times I tuck it under the couch cushion and don't come back to it for the day. I mean, I love social media. I love Instagram. I love posting stuff there, but I'm like in and out, and I'm back to my doing my do. Stillness, joy, being out in the garden, making art. I make a lot of most of this art I've made. I just love to do the things I love to do, seeing clients, helping people, offering guidance. So, you want to think about how you can free yourself. Okay, and now I can't read my writing. Free yourself from some of the patterns you've gotten yourself into that are draining and exhausting, and stay with that. I want to expand into the consciousness, widen the straw that I can pull energy in through, and allow myself to stay the powerful being that I am. So, I'm feeling like that's it. I've probably said everything. I'm going to start repeating myself. I'd much rather answer your questions if you have any for me. And I'll just say, hey, Myrna, the last thing is serenity. A lot of us talk about wanting peace. And to me, the difference between peace and serenity is this: peace is what we use in times of emotional disturbance, and it's brief. Peace, 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 peace. Serenity is a overarching energy that's connected to the divine, and serene is a choice. So that's it. Lots of love to you. I hope you love this talk, and back to you. Over to you. I feel like I should have a microphone. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Robin. That was very, very important, very valuable, and
Thank you.
it actually, yeah, it came with a lot of love and kindness. Thank you
That's
so
right.
much.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to our Q&A, but
Right.
before going there, we want to remind our audience that you can help us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down below. In this way, you help us reach as much people as possible around the world that can benefit from the content of what we share here in Mindalia TV.
Yeah. And share on Facebook. Just hit the share button. Always fun.
Exactly.
Share with your friends.
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the Q&A, and you will hear my voice. You won't see me, okay?
Oh, okay. Great.
The first question, Robin, it says, are we part of the same system with birds and butterflies? How come we don't realize it?
Yes. I mean, we're all in the essence, we're all spirit. We're all the essence of light, and different form. We take different form. And, I can tell you for me, and you could probably tell me for you, that the reason we don't realize it is that we're so ingrained in our own lives. We're so focused on this is Robin, and she's 49 years old, and she's married, and she has a couple of kids and a dog and some fish. And you're not thinking like, wow, galaxies, constellations, star stuff. We just don't do it. But hopefully, through practice and your own awakening process, more and more you begin to remember. So.
Thank you, Robin. Next question. How can we open ourselves to hearing and seeing other beings?
First thing I would say is we have to empty out. When you want to make a new guest room for someone, you have to clear out a lot of the clutter, probably. And so you have to sort of learn how to discharge some of the energy you're carrying now. And it's simply, everybody can do it. It's simply a matter of being a vibrational match, being at this similar frequency. And the essence of that energy is love. So I was saying before, like, you can't be on the fear channel or the distress or the anxiety channel and then also expect to tune to that frequency of light. Expect it. It's around you. It's going on. And, more and more learn to release the stress that you carry in your body, and even the muscles, they're so tense, they're holding things. So, and then energy follows thought. So, are you spending time in stillness? Are you guarding your words? Are you intentionally saying, I want to expand my conscious awareness? That's all. It's not a permission. I once saw a lady who had I'll just call it a spiritual opening. Like, one time she had this marvelous, magnificent thing happen. And she's telling me this story very tearfully because it's never happened again. And she's kind of like, what did I do wrong? What was the mistake? And I try all the time. And, you should have seen her. She was so tight and so upset. And it had gone on, like chronic squinched upness, because she missed the whole point that it was a one-time gift. And then it was up to her to choose to remember that always, in all ways, looking at butterflies, looking at hummingbirds, making that important. So I hope that answers a bit for you.
Thank you, Robin. Next question. Can we communicate with our ancestors? How?
Absolutely. So each of us has our own way. Most likely you communicate with memory. So it's sort of like you think about someone and you think you're just thinking about someone, if that makes sense. And, realize in that moment you are connecting with a being that is connected in your lineage. Let's say Maiomi, I was talking about her with my little bunnies. You are connecting with her right now. You're not remembering her and just thinking about her. So don't decide you're just remembering and just thinking about her. Take a moment and receive her. It is no different. One of my closest friends, we text a lot, and we are not together in the physical very often. We're in different states. How is that any different? It's just because you made a decision that it's different. So that's the first thing, is just open your heart and think, this is not just me remembering her, it's me connecting with her. And that's how you begin. And then you stay open. And I had to really learn to teach myself this. You got to stay open. I am intuitive. I do see, I do hear, I do receive. You have to make that decision to not keep saying you don't. That's tough. That was really hard for me too. So, but that's a good start right there.
Thank you, Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. My self-talk is darker than any other talk I could have with others.
Yeah.
I feel like I judge myself too hard. How can I correct that?
Let's do this right now together, because you are not the only one. And I love that. Thank you. I love that you said this. So let's take a moment to practice together right now, okay? So is this okay, Myrna, if we just do this?
Absolutely.
All right. So, right now, if you're listening still, just take a moment wherever you are. You see how I'm doing this here? This is your heart. Your heart is connected to Source. Your heart is connected to my heart. I'm inviting you to choose to receive the goodness that you actually are. So that's the first thing. It's just, would you be willing to open your heart a bit? And then, and this is so interesting, but the soles of your feet, think about this. There's energy there. There's energy centers in the soles of your feet. What would it be like to just open your feet up? You just put them flat on the ground. A lot of people cross their legs. Just, don't do that. Put your feet on the ground and let's take a deep breath together and let it out. Let your belly be soft. And as you exhale, what comes out with your exhale? It's like old, stale energy, musty energy. Each breath cleanses your entire bloodstream, it brings you in fresh, yummy goodness. So let's do that with your self-talk. Would you be willing to lay down your negative story? I vote yes. I think it's really important that you make the decision with me because, like I said, distress and negative self-talk is, not only is it unkind, you may not have thought of it this way. It's sort of like telling Source, hey, your creation sucks. And I think the work you did Hallett.com. You are welcome to send me an email, ask me to pray for you, send you a little light. And if you put subscribe in the subject header, I'll add you to, I write a letter every week to my love posse. That's what I call us, full of these kinds of reminders. Because I understand the self-talk. Sometimes I tell my students, Robin the loser, that was a big story I had to overcome. So you can do this. It's just a practice. When you catch that nasty talk, all right, don't just say, I'm the hardest on me of anyone else I know. Don't accept that. Stop and say, you knock it off. Sometimes I keep a mirror right here. I will turn my chair like this. I'm like, you knock it off right now. I have that talk too. It happens. I don't think it's a big deal. I think what a big deal is when we allow it to become a way of life and then we allow it to limit us. So, hope that is helpful.
Thank you, Robin. That's beautiful. Next question. My job is draining my happiness, all my energy. I can't leave it because I need the income. How can I raise my energy in such a negative environment?
Yeah. So, what I'd love you to do is let's just do this. Be easier. Let's do a little healing around this. Anybody who's in that boat, let's do this together. First of all, I release now any intention I hold, any decision or commitment I've made that I need to love my job, that I need to be aligned with my job, that I need to be identified from my job. Like, I need to be proud of who I am because of my job is what I'm saying. I release that now. And any intention I hold to be limited by the story about my job. So that's the first thing. It's like, let's let that go. And then we can say this: I recall and reclaim and integrate into me now my gratitude, joy, and delight about the things this job does afford me. Perhaps it's benefits, perhaps it's pay, perhaps it's opportunity. This is one I help people with a lot, corporate hell. That's what people call it. And then they're like, I got to quit my day job because I want to do this other thing. Let's just practice. What are you grateful for? I don't care if it's that they have the best Keurig coffee machine in the break room and free sandwiches. That's what we're going with. I don't care if it's you get to leave the house every day and listen to your favorite podcast on the way to work. That's what we're going with. We got to find a way for you to be in alignment with the yes and the yumminess, because the other thing is, if you, let's say someday you want to leave that place, you're stuck to it like Velcro and lint. Or, yeah, that's a good enough analogy. You are so stuck because you haven't learned how to say thank you. Thank you for the health package I have, or the money it gives me, or I don't know what, but and even if it's one thing, like I said, the break room coffee machine, find something. The thing I notice people do is they're like, Robin, this place is toxic. It's killing me. The people are horrible. It's gossipy. It's negative. It's dragging me down. Here, all the, and delete. This was an example, You are making a prayer with your words. You are saying an invocation over yourself right in that moment. And remember, we don't want to have distress over the words. So practice and let me know, let me know. I love to hear what's happening.
Thank you, Robin.
Sure.
Next question. How do I trust my instinct? I am terrified of making a bad decision.
Yeah. So, what we end up doing then is making tons of bad decisions. Think about it. You knew, how many times has this happened to you where you're like, oh my God, I knew that and I didn't do it. Right? This happens to me too. I knew that. And then I didn't do it. So one day I said to myself, Robin, you have to start following your intuition, your hunches. You have to start following your hunches, and you have to find out what happens, even if you're wrong. And sometimes I'm wrong. But I've learned, this is a no for me. I'm not doing it. Now it's to the point where I'm just flying free. I'm listening to my hunches. And I just feel like, how could I ever go wrong? There's a gut in me, an intuitive heart in me that's connected to source. In that moment, when we choose to not listen because we're afraid, we're making fear like more important than spirit. I'm not saying you're doing it because you're a jerk or something, I'm saying you're just doing it because you're scared, and the fear is bigger in that moment. But you, with practice, will start to do this. And, I wrote this prayer. I shared it with some students last week. Own the life you want to lead and live it deliberately with clarity and detachment. Don't be attached to what the hunches mean. Trust your hunches. Resist second guessing yourself. Step into the dream of your life now. New things are out there waiting to be explored. Is that what you want? Then I vote you just fly free. You just do it. And let's just try with small things, Don't do something really huge right out of the gate. Let's just start with small and let me know how that goes for you.
Thank you, Robin. That was a very beautiful prayer. Definitely stealing those words from you.
Feel free to use them. They're no good if we're not sharing. Yeah.
Thank you. We're almost reaching the end of the questions. The next question that we have is, even if I am quiet, the voice in my mind keeps talking and talking. How do I silence that one?
This is tough. It's a practice because I regularly go out and do gardening work, and I intentionally don't wear headphones or listen to music. And I'm practicing with you. And sometimes I tell people I'm out there like, shh, shh, to my own self, quiet. And I think it is something you're just going to have to start practicing. I tell people it's like a sports announcer in your head. It's always calling out the plays. And there you go. This person and that person. Oh, there's the neighbor. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Like, oh, and you're a loser and you're a terrible person and this, and I got to get this done. And right. It's just going and going and going. But remember what I was saying a while ago, that your energy follows your thoughts, and we want to cultivate stillness and a sense of serenity, this overarching energy of chill. So with practice, you can do it. And the only thing you really need to do with this, it's sort of like driving. When you weave out of your lane and your tires hit that little gravelly noise, you know to correct yourself and come back to center. So that's what you do. When you catch it again, you just say, stop. Oh, I hope that wasn't too loud in your ears. Knock it off. Come on. Shh. And if it's a really bad case, sometimes because things are happening in your life, it's okay to distract yourself with, fun thing or a TV show or music or a book. Sometimes it's kinder to your heart to distract yourself for a bit. So you're going to practice and you're going to get better at it. And then it becomes a skill. And now I have sometimes that little narrator is going or the sports announcer is calling things out. But it's sort of like you're not giving it your attention and things change. So let me know how that goes for you because it's fun.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And our last question for today.
Okay.
Paola from California. She says, I feel that I used to be more in tune with my intuition and spirituality. I am tired of hearing we need to connect to our heart. What action or step can I practically take to be more in touch with it?
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I hope I didn't sound like one of those, connect to your heart, connect to your heart. For you, get out every day, get out in nature every day and observe. I think for you, it would be really helpful to observe nature and realize the essence of that. Like, I was saying how birds and certain plants and the things reseed themselves without anybody doing anything. New plants sprout up, trees. Like, how did it get so big? You feel like somebody who's really good with that it kind of takes you into the energy of, let's call it, wow, I'm connected to something so much greater than myself. So it is a little cheesy to say, connect to your heart and feel in. That's better when we're really stressed out and upset, but if you want to do that for you, I would say get out, move your body. I'm not talking about working out. I'm just talking about moving and find your wonder, because sometimes your mind feels a little bit like it's very tight and you're not remembering your enlightenment is remembering that you come from source. Yeah. So that's the practice. Stay in your wonderment.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess that's the hardest part of all, right?
It's a practice for a reason. I mean, I try and tell people as much as I can. Like, I've been helping people in session for 20 years now, and I still have days like that, exactly, where I'm like, the mind talk is just going, and sometimes it takes you a little time to recognize. And also, if you're tired or you're hungry or you're upset, you're in a mode of crisis, you're in a different level anyway to begin with. So be easy on yourself. If you're remembering some of the time, that's a great start. I told you I could talk forever. So this isn't too bad. It was only an hour.
It was really good. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing with us this time, for sharing your time, for sharing your story, and this information that it's definitely a blessing.
My pleasure.
Before leaving, there is a couple of things that we want to remind our audience. You can help us reach as much people as possible by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, leaving a positive comment down below. You can also share this video with someone that you think can benefit from its content.
Yeah.
Sharing your social media as well. And we want to thank you, Robin, again, for being with us in the name of the team of Mindalia TV. Can you please leave us one last thought, one last feeling or prayer or whatever you want to leave us with?
Yeah. So, like I said before, it doesn't matter what came before. Now is always new. And whatever you've been carrying, the stuff that you can't forgive yourself for, the stuff you can't stop repeating in your mind that you did, I can't believe I did that. You're done. Let yourself off the hook. That is my biggest wish for you. Let's move on already. It's over. You're okay. You're a very good person, lovely person, sparkle of the divine. And, honestly, we need you shining at full maximum juju. And that means we need you to drop it already. Really. That's what needs to happen. So it doesn't matter what came before. Now is always new. So, and I'll do a little closing if that's all right. I got my little bell here too. May you be blessed. May you be at peace. May your heart be healed. And may your heart heal others. And may you always know that you dwell in the heart of the divine. And so it is. Amen. And ahoy.
Ahoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. To our audience, thank you again for being with us today. And until next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.